So how do you differentiate in a business world where your business seems a little commoditized?
Communication, responsiveness are two of the key ingredients.
It's almost like asking someone to just be perfect all the time. How do you approach that?
Mistakes happen, emails get missed, and it's how you respond to that. Everyone wants peace of mind at the end of the day.
So how do you differentiate in a business world where your business seems a little commoditized? I'm here with your Philly title guy, Terry Katz. Terry, name, role, title, what do you do, and how do you differentiate in a commoditized space?
Terry Katz, American Legal Abstract. We do good deeds.
Love it.
I'm your Philly title guy. I'm the one you go to when you need title. I'm the one you go to when you need a title resource, when you have a question. I'm your Philly title guy.
So, Terry, we open this with, it's a commoditized business, which is a pretty aggressive move to open an episode with. So I feel like it's almost insulting to the title space. But why is it commoditized?
Well, insurance rates are set by the state. So what I can offer to our client is the same as what every other title company is going to offer as far as the title premiums go. That's not changing. So we have to differentiate ourselves with quality, responsiveness, accuracy, and giving people peace of mind.
It's an interesting perspective on it, right? And so what levers do you have to pull to create that better experience, right? If pricing's set by the state, right, where are you coming in so that you're able to differentiate?
So communication, responsiveness are two of the key ingredients. Agents, buyers, sellers want to know what's going on in the transaction. Title tends to be the black hole. The agreements get sent to the title company. Listing agent doesn't really know what's going on. Buyer's agent, they're a little more involved. We try to communicate weekly with weekly updates, let the listing agent know where everything stands, even if nothing is transpired because the deal's going out 2, 3, 4 months. Mm-hmm. We still want to keep them informed, let them know they're in a good space. I think the worst thing for an agent is not knowing what's going on in their deal, and we try and give them peace of mind.
Are you generally communicating, is the conduit the agent and then the buyers and sellers, or are you ever working directly with the buyers and sellers and communicating directly to them? Is it a cross communication? Because if communication is the key, how do you do that in a way that's organized, consistent, and quality?
So it's a great question. It really depends on the agent and what they want our level of involvement to be with their client. If the buyer brings us the deal, and we get a lot of deals directly from individual buyers, investors that know us, so that's simple. But each agent's clients are different, and some don't want to hear from title. They just want to deal with their agents. Some agents don't want to give that control over, so they want to stay communicating. So we just communicate with the agent. If they want us to get involved, we get involved. If they want me to get involved personally, I get involved. We do a lot of first-time homebuyer transactions. I tend to be a hand holder, walk them through the process from the beginning, and then stay in touch with them as we go through the process, let them know they're in good shape. Everyone wants peace of mind at the end of the day.
I love that. I think, I guess, how do you consistently deliver on that, right? Because communication is a process of communicating, right? And so you have to have, I imagine, a team and systems and an organization, and then know to differentiate, like all those things that you're describing. Like I think for my, operational brain immediately, like, okay, well, I need to have some sort of consistent process that's not just in my left brain and my right brain of, well, this one wants me to communicate with them directly. This one doesn't. This one likes a little bit of communication. So are there systems built in, or there processes? Is it just a ton of training? How do you guys do it?
It was a lot of trial and error on my part, but as far as the back office and team goes, I'm nothing without them. They're doing the daily work. Everything comes to them. And they're constantly, it's all day emails. I see the amount of emails that I get, and I don't have to answer half of them because they're answering them. It's so hard to keep up with. They're dealing with, on every deal, at least 2 agents, maybe a transaction coordinator, a lender, maybe an attorney. We do a lot of deals a month. So without them, it all falls apart, and they keep everything going. On my end, I'm able to sort of oversee everything. I watch every transaction. I read all the emails, so I know what's going on. And weekly, I have my system where I reach out to the agents, the buyers, if we need to, and make sure they know what's going on.
So it feels like a business where, we talk about the things that are commoditized, right? And again, those prices, as you said, are dictated by the state, right? But when you think about a business like that, it feels like it's very much a pass-fail on every single transaction. It's either you did an amazingly great job because we felt nothing, or if we felt anything, problems, right? So how do you, it's almost like asking someone to just be perfect all the time. How do you approach that?
It feels like that. Again, thankfully, I have a great team behind me. Mistakes happen, emails get missed, and it's how you respond to that. We're so responsive, and I'd like to say we don't miss an email. We pick up on everything, but those things slip, and I think it's how you respond to those things when an issue comes up that people really appreciate. We're not infallible, but we make sure the deal gets to the finish line. And if something, if there's an issue, if we see a red flag, I'm jumping in and I'm trying to solve the issue before it becomes a true issue. That may mean that the realtor never hears about it.
Right.
That we just, we see this and we react and just, because we have to solve the problem. If it gets to the agent, they know we're going to handle that.
Are there ever situations where you're being held responsible for something that's not in your control? I mean, you're dealing with title, right? So there could be a transfer title issue from before that you're trying to navigate and wrangle, and it has nothing to do with you guys. You're coming into the transaction now. This is from 5, 10, 20, 30 years ago. What do you do in those situations from a matter of practice, philosophy, approach, and how do you deal with that with the folks that you're working with?
Yes. Yep.
Oh,
I hear a dog barking.
Is that your ringtone?
That's my ringtone.
That's a great ringtone.
Thank you.
Here, bring it up to the mic so we can really. I love that. Is it a certain kind of dog? Do we know?
No, it's. I feel that I don't hear the ringer. That I have my hearing problems. I feel like I don't hear a regular ringtone, but I hear dogs bark.
You hear dogs barking.
So I changed it to that, and for some reason it works. And yeah, I have a little 12-pound. Well, now she's like 14 pounds. I got to work on that. And she's a little killer, and she does sound like that. So.
That's hysterical. I actually thought it was legitimately a dog barking way too close to the door, and I was like, we usually can't hear anything from the street. I can't believe it's coming through the headphones. And sure enough, that's really funny. So I'll bring us back to the question of, some of the areas, we talked about earlier that it's kind of this pass-fail grade that you're getting on every transaction, and frankly, every email, right? Mm-hmm. You responded 99.9% of the emails. You miss 0.1%, and everyone, and I understand it's somebody's transaction, and that email was one more step in the journey that could be potentially missed or delayed or whatever. But when you're trying to communicate things in the title process that are outside of your control, that are things that happen preceding your involvement in the transaction, what's that like for you? Are you sometimes taking the heat for things that have nothing to do with you and trying to create that great experience for the or like is it easy because you can just set the expectation?
We get blamed a little bit for things that we can't clear. It's the seller's responsibility to clear things on title. That's to clear any issue. A mortgage goes back 40 years that predates that seller. It's still on them to clear that, but it winds up falling on us because we know how to track those things down.
Right.
We can go to our underwriter and say, how can we deal with this? So typically we can get through that, but we've had issues where someone was selling a house, they purchased with title insurance. We did the search. There was an old mortgage that came up that predated them. They couldn't find their title policy. They didn't know where this was coming from. We couldn't track down the mortgage or the satisfaction. Our searcher couldn't find anything. Nothing was on record. We have a company that we work with that deals with this. So they really wanted to close, and we told them we're going to have to escrow $110,000 of their $430,000.
Wow.
They were, probably going to. I don't know what they were getting in proceeds, but we had a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
And we anticipated that we would get a response in a month, maybe 45 days. And we told them there's no guarantee, but they wanted to close. So we closed with escrow. A month goes by, we get the email. Nothing, we haven't found anything yet. Another 2 weeks, and the emails start coming, and now 2.5 months goes by, 3 months go by, and we're checking with this company, and they're still looking for it. And the agent wasn't happy with us. The seller certainly wasn't happy with us. We told them and they signed it. We can't guarantee this. Eventually, we were able to find a piece to satisfy this and clear it up and return her money.
Oh, amazing.
But it delayed so long for her, and she was blaming that on us.
And so this is a good topic. So I pushed to sell. I signed this agreement. I've got my money in escrow, and I'm feeling in good faith. How long could this take, right? Help people understand, why can it take so long, and what's happening behind the scenes, and that it's sitting like that?
Well, like I said, title's the black hole, so no one really understands what happens. But if you get a mortgage 30 years ago and you pay that off, mortgage company is supposed to record a satisfaction. And when we do a search, we see that there's a mortgage in 1985. In 1997, this mortgage was paid and satisfied. So we can eliminate that from the title report. But if there's no satisfaction recorded, we can't just clear that and someone say, well, I paid that off. My parents paid that off. If it's in a state, we know it was paid off. Mm-hmm. Do you have any records of it? No, we have no records of it. And it's difficult because, if it's an estate, it could be very emotional for the seller.
Sure. But on the other hand, doesn't the bank... the
banks go out of business.
There you go.
Banks go out of business all the time. They get sold. Mortgages get bundled. They get sold to other companies. There's different servicing companies. We just had one with Citizens Bank where they're saying they have no record of the mortgage, and it was I forget what the program was, but it was a government program mortgage, so there were layers to it, and that delayed settlement about 30, 45 days.
Wow.
Again, everything was able to get worked out, but
But
the mortgage company, we had a loan number, they said, it's not ours, we don't have it. So they eventually found it.
I assume in that situation,
that's not blaming Citizens.
Yeah, I assume in that situation you're not getting the grief in that point because there's a clear answer as to why.
No, but the pressure's there. We're on a negative part of me. I take every deal like they're mine. So if I'm not getting it to the finish table when it was supposed to be, even though it has nothing to do with us, I have it's my mom's guilt. But I have
watching you, Mom, wherever you are.
Yeah. Or no. She's tough. No, she was the best. But yeah, you want to get them to the table. You want to get them closed. You want to get them closed without any friction. You want to get the agents the referral.
Yeah.
You want to get the photo op for the social media.
Sure.
It's and you wanted a celebration for the buyer and something to remember at the end of the day.
I love it. I think that it's probably helpful for somebody listening to this to kind of have some perspective and understand what goes through that. And I love the story that you shared where, hey, why is this taking so long? Well, the bank could be out of business or have not done their record keeping properly, and now they've sold, repackaged, rebundled 3, 4, 5 times, and your team has to go through that paper trail like detectives and go find at the end of that rabbit hole where it sits.
I made that sound like it's always the bank. It could have been recorded wrong.
Right.
It could be as simple as that, and it's recorded under another property.
Fascinating.
That happens all the time.
So it's really now. Let me ask you this: is that happening less as technology has gotten more sophisticated and there's more, let's say houses that are post 2000 and beyond, right? Post internet, are things getting cleaner? Like, is the future bright, Terry, or is it even more cloudy than ever?
Ask me in 5 to 7 years.
Understood.
In Philadelphia, it's tough.
Yeah.
The suburbs, it's much better, and you don't have the tangle title and the issues out in the suburbs. You have them, but not the way they are in the city, and you don't have deed theft out in the suburbs the way you do in the city. So there's
a lot going on. Well, I think on that note, Terry, let's not wait 7 years till we do this again. This was awesome. Super valuable, I think, just to sort of set expectations on where the value is and what you should be looking for in your title partner, I'd say. And whether that's you as a realtor out there that wants somebody that's consistently making sure you get deals across the finish line, or you're a buyer seller that just wants to make sure that your partner in the title is going to make sure it gets there. And understanding that when issues happen, generally, there's someone who has to go put on that, like I can imagine you with that Sherlock Holmes hat and the pipe and just trying to like figure out what the heck happened to that title. Terry, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I think the coolest thing about video podcasting is that it is a workflow game changer. I'm Jon Sherman, founder here at Video City Productions. We've been doing video here since 2008, long time. And one of the things we've learned is that most videos are going to have a long process. What video podcasting does is it shrinks that pre-production process, makes it much more easy to just pick a topic, maybe have a couple outline points. The production process, shorter, easier. Just sit down in a turnkey studio like ours and talk. And then that post-production process. Not only are those things faster to cut, you can also generate all of this short-form content very easily from 1 hour of talking. Is video podcasting the end-all be-all? Of course not when it comes to content creation. But is it an absolute workflow game changer? Absolutely. If you like this video and you're considering video podcasting or doing any video project, click the link in the description or visit videocityinc.com.